Hello everyone and welcome back to the Nanyang European Qualifier. It's the 5JuNGz in Nanyang going up against Vega Young. I try to make it work.
Vega Squad Young.
I like it.
Just change the squadron to Squad Young.
Squad Young?
Squad Young.
We're into game 3 here. Big deal. All right, we're at a 1-1 split and no significant advantage here. Based on players' skill, I could say anyone could walk out of here and be going to Singapore.
Well, we've got a similar draft coming out here.
Vega loved this brood.
Yep.
It worked for him last game. I mean, the brood wasn't the sole reason they won, but it's like it worked out. It definitely seemed to throw 5JuNGz off their groove a bit. This is not something you run into in your scrims, I'm sure.
Yep.
This is a Vega Squadron special. Not the first time Brood Mother Mid has been done, but there's only a few opportunities you get to go against it. Before it was Zai on Secret, toyed with it a bit, or whoever they're, drafting.
Ice played a lot, but obviously the EU teams aren't playing VG Gaming all that often, so
this is just not something you have a lot of experience with. And,
the main change from 5JuNGz is not picking Ogre this time around. Other than that, we're looking at the same opener. Last time it was 5JuNGz going Ogre plus Lina. This time around, there's more value in the Tusk over the Ogre. I think with good merit, because last game around, the BKBs in the mid game, it was that Roshan fight where 5JuNGz tried to contest and they just picked up BKB on Brood and Slaughter where they had no answer to the BKBs. Tusk gives you some answers. You've got the Walrus Punch, Sigil's annoying to deal with, Snowball offers a lot of utility. I feel like Tusk as a hero offers you more than Ogre. They just had great success with the roaming Tusk. So I could see why they kept going to it and why teams were even first stage banning it, but Tusk as a hero most areas is better than Ogre.
Of course. I would not be surprised. I'm anticipating here. They already made a ban on the Dazzle, which is something Vega did go for as a third pick last time. But there's still like a Wyvern out there, if they still wanted a defensive support, who could still take advantage of maybe a misplayed Snowball from Tusk could lead to a huge Winter's Curse.
I think it was a ban on the Wyvern in the previous game instead of Dazzle. I'm not sure what the other second stage ban was. But yeah, I think a Wyvern ban from 5JuNGz would be quite smart here, because Vega want to have that one defensive support, so when you get a jump with a Tusk or whoever, and the Lina Laguna Blade, you can keep that hero alive. Cold Embrace not going to necessarily save you against the Laguna, but it is some defensive potential coming out. But for now, we'll see where 5JuNGz look to go. I think very much the Lycaner pick they're not going to go back for here this game.
And it's not like the Razor did bad in the mid lane. He actually had controlled the situation. Of course, a lot of the CS was inflated because of the Broodlings, but
I could see them picking Razor again. I think the Razor pick was a strong pick from them and something that you can't really look at being like a weakness of their previous game's draft. The Ogre you can, the Lycan you can, but definitely not the Razor. So I would not be surprised by another Razor from 5JuNGz. But at the same time, maybe they just don't feel confident and they'd rather go for something more straight-up carry-oriented, like a Shadow Fiend comes to mind.
Well, 5JuNGz used that other ban to rid of the Slardar, and I was just gonna say this. I was like, what they can do now is just take the Winter Wyvern for themselves instead of banning it, which they do, which means you're kind of catering your draft for the other team. If you're kind of always doing these, like, you're trying to think a step ahead and you're defensively reacting to what you think Vega are going to be doing, or Vega could just be like, oh, we anticipated you're going to be banning out the Dazzle Slaughter this time. We actually got option B here that we're going to pull out. You never want to, I'd imagine, be in that situation as a drafter that you're just trying to play to the other team and read one step ahead, where you're not. That means you're not even getting to play your own game. You're just playing reactionary. Now, that could not be the case, and it could be not giving enough credit to Kuro, and maybe he was planning on having a Wyvern. But see, now a pick of Ancient Apparition leads me to believe that maybe Vega were like, okay, no problem, you'll take away our defensive support and take the other one for yourself, but now we're going to grab another support who can be defensive, but now has the Ice Blast to ruin any sort of sustained power you're looking to build up.
Yeah, right now it's just the Cold Embrace, which to me is not normally a spell you think, oh, we got to pick a AA just to deal with Cold Embrace, but I think a support that Vega like to run that gives them also strong laning stage, especially when you pair it with something like a Rubik. Rubik AA is one of the most potent laning duo supports in the game because of the amount of damage you can get out from a Chilling Touch, and you've got the setup from the Telekinesis. So
yeah, it gives you some global options too.
Yes, that's a good point.
if it was like they still needed a mag hero, I'd be like, oh, Clockwork could be there as an option.
Well, they could pick a
or
Spectre.
Zeus for the mid lane, but a Spectre. Yeah.
I mean, Zeus also works. Zeus is great against Wyvern. You can run Ember safe lane. Pasha can definitely play the Ember Spirit if they want him
That
to.
or you try playing the non-core Venomancer or just get a Venomancer. Remember Venomancer AA used to be a disgustingly pungent combo. Storm Spirit. That's still a hero.
Great against Brood. I think they looked at AA, and one of the weaknesses, the big glaring weakness with this hero is his support with no lockdown, no control.
Typically likes to farm on the side by himself and could be an easy pickoff target.
Well, his 4 teammates are off pushing a tower, and he's just throwing the Ice Blast from as far away as possible for the maximate AoE, and that's where, Storm has a field day. So,
but Storm was nerfed, and from big Storm players that I've played with, I have the luxury of playing with. I'm terrible, but they're amazing, and they love Storm. They said that they can feel the impact of the nerfs. They said that he can just go right through the mana. I want to say it was almost doubled up the mana cost just to commit these ball lightning jumps, where in the past you used to be able to do the long ball lightning in, get the job done, and still have enough to get out. This time you might not have that enough to get out.
His early game has been hit really hard. The static remnant at early levels costs, it's a flat 100 mana. In the past it used to be scaling 70, 80, 90, 100. So it's flat 100, level 1, 2 remnant. You eat away at your mana pool quickly. The vision from the remnant got slightly reduced. I mean, that's something which does come into play, especially later on when you're using him to scout around trees and smoke ganks, yada yada. But as far as let's look at the lane and inside a team fight, the ball lightning 15 plus 7% of your current mana to 30 plus 8%. That hurts most for the small jumps, where that double increase on the flat amount of mana it uses has doubled now, which makes it really brutal for the small jumps. It's harder to farm stacks with it, because in the past you drop a remnant, you get your overload hit, then you use a ball lightning. Like, you click your portrait, so you do that minimum mana cost ball lightning. But now that minimum mana cost, especially in the early game, has increased significantly.
If you're trying to quickly ball lightning to disjoint something, let's say an Ice Blast, that one little jump to avoid the Ice Blast, that's great, you dodge the Ice Blast, but now you're going to be left with little to counter fight with.
Mid game a little weaker. I'd say late game though, this hero is still very scary and strong. I don't think his late game's been directly nerfed. There's some items though, like Bloodstone, which receive some nerfs that Storm likes to go for, that now have been also made the hero not as viable. So the hero on his own in the late game is still great, and I think very much 5JuNGz are playing for the late game. Spectre, well, yeah, there we go. They're playing kind of late game. And you talked about Vega going global. There's a lot of good global ganking potential out of the Storm Ball Lightning combined with a Spectre Haunt as well. So they'll be looking to play for the late game, but finding pickoffs all throughout the mid game. They don't really want a team fight with this draft, but they will be looking for smaller skirmishes constantly.
In the start of this draft, we anticipated that it could still just be the Broodmother back at the mid lane, but they can always change it up here and just put Brood back into the off lane. Is the Brood's off lane matchup that terrible here now?
Brood was, a very flexible pick in that they can lane it wherever they see fit. And that's where picking it early was easily justifiable for Vega, because they know they don't have to run it mid. And I think offlane against the Spectre, Wyvern Lina is probably Mag's best lane now.
What if they totally change it up? Put Brood to a different lane, whether it's back mid or bottom. Have Ember at the other, whether it's mid or bottom. And they could pull up like a Undying or something and go aggro against the Spectre. You typically want to try to punish Spectre.
You've got the Earthshaker is the main issue there, and Earthshaker in an aggro tri lane is Earthshaker AA is, to me, not dominant enough to fight Wyvern Lina. They could pick a mid hero and then run Ember safe lane, but a lot of options. Like, they can pick heroes from any lane here.
In this patch?
Yeah, he got his swarm at early levels is a lot stronger.
I don't know if it's something they can reach for. I don't even remember the last time I've seen a Weaver.
I like the Zeus suggestion you threw out earlier. I feel like Zeus can give them. They are somewhat lacking burst damage right now, which is where Zeus thrown into the mix is great. Can do well against the Wyvern Cold Embrace. The passive good against the Spectre in the late game.
Oh, is that a Mag Centaur, or is this a core? That's a Pasha Centaur.
Pasha often plays these tempo controllers.
Axe core he's done a couple of times now, and the Centaur.
Yeah.
What about any loving for Centaur in this patch? I can't quite remember. If he was touched, it must have been pretty damn
return got changed.
minimalistic.
Yep. Return strength as bonus damage increased from. Especially at high levels.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a late game buff for him. 50% at max level, now up to 66 or 65.
66.
66.
Early level, the one value point gone from 26 to 30, which is a pretty smallish change, but late game when you've got lots of HP. I mean, looking at return this game, it's not like there's any heroes that will. You're not against like a Wind Ranger who's going to try and focus fire down the Centaur, and then the Centaur just blows up the Wind Ranger.
I love the mind games here at the end of the draft. I have a feeling that Vega knew they were going to be committing for the Centaur, but they wanted to wait to the last second possible to commit. Now, I am going to have a crash here, so I'll quickly retort. But once the Centaur came out, you saw that obviously 5JuNGz wanted to take some time to analyze the last pick and start getting a pregame going as far as where everyone's going to lane, where they need to go, whether it's of utmost importance to get their offlaner that extra bit of vision, whether they want to go and predict where Vega might start this. There's a lot that happens inside those little tiny team rooms before they get the game underway. Let me get reconnected back into the... You crashed too?
Yep. Oh, and how fitting.
How fitting. The Centaur is back.
I've got the Tusk. There's a Tusk in the game.
Can't forget also that awesome new Ags that Centaur has. I would love to see that in a competitive game, being able to just charge above and beyond through any terrain into the Roche Pit if necessary. It looks like we're going to be back underway, folks. Welcome. It's the Nanyang EU Qualifier Grand Final. We're in game number 3 of this best of 5. The series now tied up 1-1 here as the 5JuNGz go toe-to-toe with the Vega Squadron. Vega, who had battled their way all the way through that lower bracket, taking out Alliance, Monkey Freedom Fighters, battling way through Monkey Business to get to the spot. 5JuNGz, who had been undefeated, getting their first scratch on their record here in Nanyang from Vega.
I mean, question, what's the lane where Mag will go? And it looks like bottom lane against a Tusk is what he'll find his matchup being. Matumbaman in trouble.
Big block coming out from Zima leads to the demise of the Spectre. Matumbaman going to be going down, and it's going to be Vega who strike first.
Great early kill. I mean, Spectre's not going to be in lane for the first wave. He was never going to farm against this aggro tri-lane regardless, I guess. And you kind of asked about pressuring the Spectre's lane, which is not the best with an Earthshaker, but they're going to go for it. And getting an early first blood, I mean, that's also like, well, we just got a first blood, so this now works out a whole lot better. And a first blood which went to the AA, so not the ideal hero to get it on, but you can still see some fast boots or a fast magic stick coming out for solo.
Another aggro lane setup here for Vega, and Pasha's just free farming in the lane as it is right now. Still waiting for the return of Matumbaman here. He'll finally get into the action, but
one of the best things about doing this is that Brood gets a great matchup. 1v1 against Tusk is very favorable for Mag, especially when Tusk has gone for boots level 1. I say that, Sentry comes out and Mag actually, yeah, he's caught by surprise.
This is one of those moments you can get the advantage onto Brood before she's able to get the levels together. A beautiful shard block, and Mind Control is just going to easily clobber down the Spider. Mad gets taken care of. Okay. God's Caster Curse.
Yep, it happens. You know, it's a Brood favored matchup, but he got caught. He wasn't the courier getting delivered to bottom lane. Fata doesn't have his bottle. He's gone for a Null Talisman first, so it freed up the courier for that first minute of the game, and Mind Control got delivered sentries. So I don't even think he paid for them. I think it was one of the supports on his team buying it for him, and that gives him a really nice early game, which he needs against the Brood because of how bad this matchup is.
Mid lane matchup, though, it's the Spirit Brothers going toe-to-toe. The Fire Nation meets the Lightning Nation, I suppose. Fata at 10-0 CS.
Like one of those, like, ah.
I don't even know if that's a nation or not in that anime thing, but for Ember, 8-0. About on par.
Kuro fissured. Could be in some trouble here at top. The Vortex slung him down.
Nice slow down there. LSA stops him a bit, but Solo, uphill miss. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, wouldn't have been a kill. He didn't have the damage. He actually lost the chilling touch.
And it looks like Kuro has a salve handy and a clarity.
Jarex wants to come in and cancel these clarities.
Nice mana.
Gets them both.
But Matumbaman even committing in. Gets the dagger, but Jarex is seeing a lot of damage.
He's got soon. 2 mana short.
Pasha rolls through. Jarex cuts himself, tries to eat through a tree, a cheeky play, but he's going to get knocked in the noggin with a big fissure, and now they want Kuro again, and they're going to slowly wither him down. Do they have the chase? No, they don't, but it's enough to force him back and to start to chew through the rest of his regen. Continued aggression here from the top. Vega still inching out ahead little by little. Pasha had to come over to glare at him a bit, but he returns back into the lane, and he'll continue to farm up.
Yeah, he misses a CS or two, but Spectre, he's missed
many
a CS. Sitting on 4 last hits right now. Matama Man, known for playing these aggressive fighting carries. I'm surprised to see him on Lycan and then Spectre in these 2 games. I mean, sometimes you do have to play heroes outside your comfort zone, but
it depends on whoever's making those kind of calls to put him on these heroes. Mid lane, they're trading blows here. Fata committing with the Spirit. It's going to be forced back, and it's enough to force out the TP from Kuro. And this could be all due to those little implications of the early game and the nerf that was done to the Storm Spirit. Mag back at bottom, has his Soul Ring now done, is at level 4 here, and this is when things become more uncomfortable for the Tusk. He got that first blood, which was nice, but Broodling is starting to become a real brood mama.
Yeah, because of the first blood, it allowed him to buy Arcane Boots so he can at least spam the lane with Ice Shards to deal with the Spider Army somewhat, but he hasn't got good sustain for the lane, isn't able to regen up any harass coming his way, so will still be Brood with an advantage, but at least Tusk with the means to prevent an early tier 1 tower going down and to also get some okay farm with the Ice Shard spam.
Now for Pasha here on his core Centaur Warrunner is very similar to his build-up that we saw from like the Slardar, putting more into getting the mobility first, the Blink Dagger, or does he tank up and then decide to go into it?
I see no reason not to just rush a Blink Dagger. It's pretty much, even when the Centaur's played as a safe lane farmer, it's always the Blink Rush.
Oh, Sima creeping in here. No vision on the side for Dire. Will lead to a fissure connection. Not enough to block off, but they will start to chomp him down. An early Cold Embrace will be coming out from Jerix. We'll save Matama Man here, and it might be enough to counterplay onto Pasha. But while that happens, Sima's happy to commit in and takes out the Spectre, making it very nice here for Vega. Rotation from Fata with the Haste Rune. He's chasing. He wants solo. He's going to bump him once. The overload, and he goes right into the stun. Oh, a double edge comes out from Pasha, and they're going to get the huge kill on the Fata. Solo grabs that one, a double kill for him. They still can't get the Centaur. A triple remnant comes out from no one. He's back in action now from the mid lane. Kuro gets a brief save from the Cold Embrace, but it's not going to be enough. He goes down. This is a disastrous start right now for the 5JuNGz. Matama Man is back, and he'll get off the dagger onto Pasha, but Pasha still alive and well. The big, meaty Centaur lives on.
What a lane. And Pasha's just like, I got Tranquil Boots. I'm not going anywhere. 14 regen a second with Tranquils and the Mango. This offlane has been a huge success for Vega Squadron.
Almost every lane now is a success for Vega Squadron.
Well,
they have kept Spectre in check. Yeah, that Fata rotation turns into a disaster. He loses his own life. He doesn't get the kill on the solo, and then no one rotates in, and he helps out in getting a kill. It's just looking like Vega got a commanding early game, and well, we'll have to see what the pullback is going to be here for the 5JuNGz.
It's going to have to be Tusk rotating around to kind of fix some of these problems on the map, which will give... To me, it's like either your Tusk rotates off the lane, you have to give up the Brood getting a tier 1 tower for it, but it's worth it if you can find enough kills and like trades elsewhere on the map. The only other option is to bring heroes bottom lane and look for kills using the Tusk onto the Brood. So you either... It looks like they will do that. They'll take option B, which is bring heroes bottom, Fata swings down here with an Invis Rune, and with Dust on Mind Control, they can kill Brood. This has to work, though. They're committing 2 heroes just to deal with the Brood, while Matama Man doesn't farm and Ember farms mid.
This is where we're going to see. If Fata is trying to get involved with an early kill, this is where we could see those possible 6.85 changes come into play. Right when he's at level 6.
Yeah. Like, Mag knows the Storm's been missing and has no vision in the bottom river, so is unable to scout rotations easily. He's now going to send his... He scouts that the small camp has been killed off. And he scouts like the Storm was just here. He sees 2 of his camps missing, and he's like, why are these camps dead? Yeah. The only explanation is the hero was there killing him off, and it wasn't the Tusk, so he's going to know that the Storm was there. We'll now know the Storm's back mid, though, as Fata has shown himself, but... kind of confirms his earlier hunch that he was being ganked in.
But look at the difference already, because Fata in that incident in the top lane and having to go visit the bottom there in hopes of maybe something being set up while no one continues to farm. He's now level 8, nearly level 8.5. Fata just gets to his level 7. You can start to see the bit of urgency here. But Vega now, priming on bottom lane. They're looking to go for Mind Control. Mind Control to go down. Gets a snowball off, but this is just delaying the inevitable. The last hit is going to be coming in from no one, and Ownage coming out from your announcer, just letting everyone know that Vega are looking dominant here at the start of Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Tusk with a bunch of CS, but so many of that little spiderlings and not really converting into objectives or even kills beyond the first blood. He's not really found the kills or contributions for his team. Top lane, Pasha is exposed here.
He's got Stampede. Oh, he's running. He's going to be able to make it away.
I think that's what he knew. It's like, if they 3-man gank me, I've got no protection. His supports both rotated bottom. Ember rotated bottom. So he's like, if they gank me, I'll just Stampede away and waste more of their time. It does put Stampede on cooldown, but it secures your team a bottom tier 1 tower by keeping the supports top, and it's just keeps yourself alive. So that's a good use of Stampede there, knowing that that gank is likely to come in. Because if you're 5JuNGz, you see 4 heroes pushing top, and you know they just TP that down there, the obvious counterplay is to go for that Centaur kill. And right afterwards, the response now up top. Mag TP's up here. It's an interesting little move for him. I think he decides that bottom lane is been worked on enough already.
Yeah, I was going to ask that question to see if Mag was to stay in that bottom lane. Meanwhile, there is going to be a kill bottom lane. Mind Control comes back, and we'll get the solo pick onto Seema the Slayer, the Earthshaker, who is just trying to level up on his own and get to his level 6. Will get punished. But if Mag was going to hang down bottom and just continue to do the Broodmother thing, pushing up towards the tier 2, and looks like it's not going to be that. He'll head towards the top lane. Asha scouted out. Hoofstomp will come out, but he does not have a Blink Dagger and no way to get out from this corner. He gets uppercutted. The Haunt's going to be coming out. That will allow Tummelman to participate. And now is Snowball over as Mind Control will look to get away. And that's not happening. No one's going to pick up that kill with the burn of the Flame Guard. And it turns into a 1-1 trade. And maybe the core Centaur, but this Ember Spirit's going to be getting the kill.
It's the first kind of signs of slightly sloppy play from Vega. The decision to move Brood top wasn't so much for the Brood's convenience, but for the Centaur's convenience to farm up his Blink, because he was getting to the point where he couldn't farm in the offlane, and they really need his Blink for the mid-game. So he TP's bottom, is already half HP because of the harass coming out from the supports, and then just feeds himself into a corner for the Tusk. So while they get the revenge kill, it does feel like that's kind of the Tusk's job right now. If he can get a kill like that on a key hero like Centaur to slow down the Blink, it's overall worth it to trade his life for.
JerAx is coming with a sentry. We'll plant it. Would see Mag if he heads over to the left. We'll see him now, and Mag's now out of vision. But there could be a follow-up sentry. JerAx looks to cut him off. Doesn't have level 6, though, so he has no way to lock down the Spider. And now comes the Stampede as they snowball in. They counter with their own initiation. They are going to be taking out Mag, and Pasha might have to turn and run. Here comes the first Ice Blast, though. Nice connection onto Kuro, which will lead to his demise. Makes it a 2-for-1 trade. Now Vega still on pursuit here. They're looking to go for Mind Control, who has the shards now. Can he get off a crucial block here to make it away? Oh, he's going to get chained down. Will be forced to snowball back to a little lingering creep. Puts him on the other side here, Gods, and he looks to retreat. Gets off a beautiful shard block, but Seema is there. Connects with a fissure stun. Broodlings now come in, and no one is going to be on the chase. Has a sleight of fist. No chains, though. Here comes JerAx. Big Splinter Blast, and Mind Control makes it out to safety. JerAx, though, could lose his own life, but Kuro's here now, and oh, well, there's a big fissure connection. JerAx will be going down. It's the better target for 5JuNGz over Mind Control, but they still continue to not get the better end of these trades. 10-4 now advantage for Vega.
And Fata just trying to make use of some of this space to pressure out the bottom lane, try and get a tier 1 tower. He knows a lot of heroes committed up top, TP's included, which will lead to, I don't know if anyone's really got the ability to defend bottom lane. Earthshaker probably in the best shape, level 6, with the TP scroll, but Fata may just find himself getting this bottom tier 1 tower, which would be a big boost to his early game goal, which right now, 5JuNGz just need whatever they can find.
Blink Dagger now picked up, though, on
That's
Mr.
the danger
Pasha.
item.
And a Shadow Blade.
Tusk farmed out of his mind.
Oh.
Level 11 as well. I guess the level 2 ulti not a huge upgrade. Tusk, the Walrus Punch, not the damage doesn't scale at all. It's all about the slow and the cooldown. But he's gonna pack a punch now with the Shadow
The
Blade.
first blink onto JerAx leads to a follow-up kill. Ice Blast. Oh, look at that. Was going for JerAx, but also going to be able to scout out Matama Man behind him and lands for a free hit. No follow-up will be there, but here's the Shadow Blade from Mind Control here. Looking to go for a target. Snowball is going to be in. That was the loudest snowball of my life. They are going to get the uppercut off. Mag is caught in a corner here, but so is Mind Control. Turn around, active the fly, and, well, look at that. Vega still able to get a lot.
Mag, get away.
Mag trying to make it
He's
away.
gonna live.
Matama Man is not going to be able to commit. Here comes Sleight of Fist Chains. They're going to get the Cold Embrace off Jerix. Huge Splinter Blast. He's trying to fly away, but he will get knocked down from the fissure. Mag with the double. Oh, back with the vengeance. Vega fought to show up, committing in with the long
He showed
jump.
up so late.
Yeah, it's a bit too late. He is going to be able to storm on through, get still connected from the Ice Blast, but it's Mag grabbing another one as Kuro's going to be taken down. A triple kill for your Brood Mama.
Who has Orchid and Boots coming out on Courier just from that one team fight. That was a 4-0, a 2,500 gold swing at just 13 minutes in, and it's a T2 tower, so it's not even just the gold swing from the fight itself. It's the map control that Vega are going to get. It's the money they're going to get from this tower. Their item progression just skyrocketed.
No one's going to get the last hit. Tier 2 will go down. And Mind Control, who is back on the prowl here, starting to feel, I don't want to put a strong word as desperate, but 5JuNGz are going to need to try to take back some control in this mid game because it's getting out of hand.
The Shadowblade Walrus punch found the Courier. That's about it as far as 5JuNGz and getting objectives right now, or getting not even objectives, getting cash into their pockets.
Took that Quelling Blade and Stout Shield out of the game.
Still, Vega with such a strong lineup now, they're just going to group up, go for mid next. Brood is nearby, doesn't spot out the Shadow-Bladed Tusk. Mag is actually just fighting with his team now that he's got this Orchid too.
Vega, who are very comfortable taking any sort of team fight here. It looks like they'll get the free Tier 1 and continue pushing in. 5JuNGz, their backs starting to go against that wall here, yet to break any Tier 1 for them. And for a lineup that's committing in for a tremendous late game on the back of a Spectre, this is the position you don't want to have to be in, where the push keeps coming. Vega understand they don't want this to have to go too late, and if they can keep 5JuNGz corralled to their side, the farm options become more and more limited, and there's only so many people who are going to be able to get out there to comfortably farm, and you have to delegate a lot of it, I imagine, onto the Spectre.
And Spectre at this point, I don't feel like you can try and make that big jump to Radiance. We see Matamba Man with a Gauntlet. He's probably going for an Urn or a Drums for himself. He just needs some stats and HP. He's going to need to farm and catch up through not so much team fighting, but through finding pickoffs with his team. He can't just purely try and AFK farm his way back into this game. He's going to have to use that Haunt and combo with the Storm, Ball Lightning pickup potential, and find some kills here or there.
But Vega have just taken up residence inside the 5JuNGz jungle here.
It's looking rough. I mean, I guess that's where you take the Radiant jungle, which is kind of what Kuro does with a couple wards, and does set this up at least from Matamba Man to farm.
Mag has been spotted here from Mind Control with the help of that sentry in lane. He's going to get the uppercut. He's going to get the kill. The follow-up Dust. So it's a nice solo pick here for the Tusk to go out and get it. Bottom lane, though, they're looking to go for Matamba Man. There's a Stampede from Pasha. He's going to lead in with a double edge. Now comes no one with the extra bit of lockdown. Connects with the chains, and here comes an Ice Blast. Matamba Man actually able to slip from it. Glitches through the trees, and right when he's about to TP away, Pasha comes in, chops off his head, and he will go down. 16-5 Vega. Still in a tight hold, as they have about a 7,500 net worth lead, though the XP about even here.
Poor Matamba Man probably thought he'd survived. He's like, oh, I missed the Ice Blast. I'm in the clear. I'm going to get this TP out. Could have ran deep in the trees with that dagger, but he just wanted to TP as soon as possible, knowing that Centaur did have another blink coming soon.
Feels like they're just also trying to make sure Fata can get a lot of farm. If he's not going to be able to easily achieve a mid game like you could in the previous patch, you need to have the items to substitute the mana that just gets eaten up so fast.
He's not been fighting at all. He
just needs the time to get a Bloodstorm.
He's made 2 early game attempted rotations. First, the one top with the haste rune where he picked up his 1 death, and then second towards bottom with the invis rune to try and gank the Brood, and both one failing horribly when he died, the second just wasting his time. That's something you can't really afford to have happen as a Storm Spirit anymore, especially with the recent nerfs to this hero. It's just a lot less forgiving as far as your transition into the mid game if you don't find those pickoffs. If you just spent your time farming from the get-go and stacking your jungle, he'd be already with the Bloodstone and some money on top, but the failed rotations have hit him hard.
Here comes Vega. There's smoke. They have Mag out in front.
He's baiting.
Trying to bait him. 5JuNGz could eat this bait. Oh, Curl comes in trying to slave out the wave, and he will just get instantly decimated there. JuNGz looking to go for a Valiant TP. That's not happening, and Solo is now dominating on his AA. They quickly clean out 2.
That's, you know, the crazy. It's 5JuNGz setting a trap there. Like, okay, we're going to hide Fat in the trees, drop a sentry, kill the Brood. And Vega, like, no. We're actually the ones who are going on you. This is our trap. And Storm, as soon as his teammates get jumped on, Storm just, like, ball TP out of there. He's like, he knew it was a bad fight the second Ember and Centaur showed up. They were hoping for only a Brood. As soon as it's more than one hero, they can't fight.
Mind Control will sweep on through, and they'll put their attention towards the bottom lane here, but Vega are quick to just make sure they can keep the pressure inside the 5JuNGz base, and if they're not going to be pushing the high ground, they want to at least force rotations from them back to defend. That way they're just not farming, and there's no way they would be able to play catch-up here to what Vega have already accomplished so far. And we look to Ember. It looks like he's very close to finishing out that first Battle Fury. Pasha, after completing out the Blink Dagger, he's going to go for a force, so doubling up the mobility here. It seems like Vega are wanting to keep firing on all cylinders while they still have this momentum. JuNGz, who's just going to have to get out there, creep in, place out a Valiant Ward, in hopes that 5JuNGz can just use this vision to assess the situation better, whether it's going to be a fight that they feel they can come out with or not.
creep skipping mid. He just, this is desperation mode.
He'll send his way back, and the tier 2 will go down. So that will leave just one more outer tower here for 5JuNGz at not even 20 minutes in.
And Vega haven't even considered Roche yet. They don't need the Aegis by any means. They're far enough ahead that they're not worried about the team fight going poorly because they're against a farming Spectre and Storm Spirit. So they don't. It's not like they need it to take these outer towers. When they want to go high ground, Roshan becomes more of a priority for them, which is probably going to start becoming the case in the next couple of minutes. They're about to finish the Ember Spirit's Battle Fury. They're about to pick up a... They've just got the full stuff on Centaur, so they've got their next level of items. So now's the time where they'll get that last tier 2 tower, or potentially even just go straight for the Roshan, because they are ready to threaten the high ground should they find a pickoff.
Vega are just so, like, ready to come together and take fights. The solo build-up here, going with a mech, it's a bit unusual for an AA. You know, typically AA is, you know, hanging in the back far away so he can get the most out of an Ice Blast. Not close enough to his team to even be useful with the mech, but it just kind of, I guess, gives you an idea of where Vega's priorities are.
The spell to point out here is Max Ice Vortex does a lot in the fight now. But
getting in. Already down on a lot of mana here as he tries to finish off solo. Winter's Curse will come in for Pasha here, but they just don't have the firepower to finish anyone off. Now it's Fata on the run, and he is starved for mana. Quick to bottle up, and they do not want to follow through with it. But this is what started as 5JuNGz trying to go for a pick and not getting it.
Oh, another Courier in jeopardy here. Mind Control doesn't quite find it.
Oh, is able to kind of make its journey out, but will he get it on the way back? Doesn't look like it. He'll continue to hide, and Vega at mid lane. Mag moving in from Matama Man here. Actually going to have to go right into a TP, and oh, you'll see that he narrowly escaped an incoming fissure.
Seaman blinked too. I don't. Maybe it was just on cooldown and came back up, but I clicked him after the fissure, and it looked like he had blink, but not the end of the world.
Fata now in top lane.
Mind Control at bottom's being caught.
Oh, top lane, though, they have a full Echo Slam. Stun follow-up. The Storm is dead. And your 8-charge Bloodstone quickly goes down to 5. They're also looking for Mind Control here. Ice Blast on through. Not going to catch him as he just Shadow Blades down below, but it's in a bit of a predictable spot. That means no one's going to get in there, and he's going to catch out Mind Control. Ownage. Vega now 20-5.
What was the actual last kill that went the way of
We can
5JuNGz?
look at the graph and have an answer for you. Well, it looks like it happened back in about 15 minutes.
That was a tower.
That was a tower. Oh, goodness. Uh-oh. Back into the action here. Matama Man caught out a bit in the front door, and he will be punished. This could be a pretty swift game 3 here, gods.
It looks like their last kill was around 10 minutes. That's the sad state right now for
You're right.
for
Mind
5JuNGz.
Control taking out Mag.
They're not getting anything done. They've got too many heroes who are all trying to farm. You've got Storm Spirit, who's always off on his own, creep skipping, and the Storm can do it. Like, this is Like that fits Storm as a hero in his playstyle. If he plays it smart, he's not getting caught off. The problem is the Spectre's not a hero who can do the same thing. The Spectre needs a jungle, needs a lane to farm, and having the Spectre with the Storm both in catch-up mode doesn't work. Not to mention Mind Control. He's doing what he can to create space with the Shadow Blade, but he's got no one to really partner up with him. When he goes Shadow Blading in, he's always on his own. Kuro can't just go running through like enemy creep waves or through the river to try and follow up the Shadow Blade initiation. It's very much Mind Control, just Shadow Blading around. Not even really looking for kills, more just looking for scouting information, it feels like lately.
Bottom lane, though. In a bit of trouble here. No one is able to catch him with the chains, but the Winter's Curse may have just kept him alive as Seema will not be able to help engage here. Fata TP's away.
I'm seeing defensive Winter's Curse is being used. That's
when you know things are not going too well for you. Those are crucial defensive high ground components here. And every time if they breach out from the base and try to get farming, they're going to be forced to use these. There's going to be one time when Vega will decide to just quickly push in after a pickoff, and you will not have that defensive tool.
The main thing for 5JuNGz, like, the few positives is that their farming efficiency has been up there for, like, the Storm Spirit at least himself. For Vega, they've been going around going for these kills, so we're not looking at a huge farm lead. Storm is only a little bit behind the Ember and the Brood. Spectre, though, is suffering. Like, there's no farming efficiency for Spectre whatsoever this game. But as far as the Storm goes, he's keeping up, and Vega aren't completely snowballing on carries.
Ooh.
But they're snowballing through kills, not through farm.
Any chance someone from 5JuNGz just creeps out from that front door, Vega are quick to strike. Now a haunt to break out here as they're trying to get the catch onto Mag. Mag up in arms with Mind Control here. His help is now on the way. Oh, Matama Man tried to TP out, but the fissure came, and now Matama Man will go.
Got a gem, too, if they can hunt down Mind Control. He is pretty fast in the Shadow Blade, so should escape.
Trying to draw them away from the base, but Vega don't want to have to go. Oh, Fata. Oh, fissure. Follow up from Seema. Going to get the Echo, and look at the TPs coming in. Fata, though, does have the mana to quickly jump in TP, but Vega are just not making it easy for 5JuNGz to go out anywhere to get anything done.
Yeah, didn't quite get the right jump there with the necessary follow-up damage to the stuns.
This is hard times right now for 5JuNGz. I mean, I'm sure they're considering what plan B or even C is at this point. Mind Control is going to get scouted from a sentry ward. Quickly silenced up, quickly surrounded, and quickly dead. All right. Well, Mind Control can't feel comfortable doing that kind of play anymore. For the last 5 minutes or so, he had, continuously Shadowbladed himself into the woods to help extinguish this problem of a spider. But last time he didn't get away with getting caught out, though he was spotted from a rogue Radiant Sentry. This time, he will get spotted, and he will be punished for it.
It just feels like Vega, like little kids at an arcade playing whack-a-mole. Anytime a hero pops up, whack. Another one popped up, whack. It's just kill after kill. And there's no fight in this 5JuNGz side right now. This is the flattest I've seen them look in any of their games in Nanyang or other tournaments as well. Like when they played the Alienware Summers End Cup, they were playing explosive Dota. They were playing fairly aggressive. Like normally it was kind of controlled aggression, but there is no aggression. It's just purely just, it almost feels like they're just waiting to lose this game or just hoping that somehow their ultra high ground defense is going to turn this around. And to be fair to them, they have got a Spectre, so it's very much like once you hit that Radiance timing, your team fight suddenly gets a lot better out of that Radiance, but it just doesn't feel like... the Spectre is still going to be so poor even with the Radiance, and you can't farm with the Radiance by yourself in lane because there's so much kill potential coming out of any number of these Vega heroes.
Pasha going to eat the Walrus Punch and a full Winter's Curse.
Oh, Spectre got the kill too. That's really important.
It's nice. No one goes in now, but didn't engage before. Oh, Mind Control able to slip away with the TP. This time, Vega, one of the few times that they've actually been a little late to respond.
Yep.
They still looks like they'll be able to grab Jarek's here as at least an exchange.
All right, Relic online. Matamba Man was on 3K, gets 800 gold out of that kill. And that's how you want to use the Haunt, just to rock up and try and KS. So he gets Relic now. And there's still a very small glimmer of hope for 5JuNGz. By no means is this game over. Storm Spirit, so frustrating to try push high ground against because he can always creep skip, he can just ball in, take out your creep wave while TPing, and there's nothing you can do against it.
Ooh, Blinking Echo committed here to get Mind Control, and it pays off. He's going to be out now a minute. on the sidelines.
there's
Vega
no
will be able to clean up
Winter's
this tier
Curse
2. They can step back and Roche, or they can push on forward here.
Undecided so far. I think they will eventually go for Roche. This will be their first Roche of the game, which is normally, like, you look at the state of this game and how much Vega's been ahead from start to finish. You'd be surprised to see such a late Roshan, but
They have good damage, but not the best Roche lineup.
Yeah.
This will take a bit of sweat here, but
Medallion, just the Brood who really packs a punch.
I mean, 5JuNGz could potentially have a say. I mean, it's a Storm Spirit after all, and a Winter's Curse potentially.
They're actually doing this pretty fast, all
But
things
yeah, it looks
considered.
like it will be going down before 5JuNGz can
And-
even think about it.
An item you asked about, we will be seeing a center Axe build up.
Nice. Now, what kind of cheeky tactics could we see with this? If they just didn't have to care about the tier 3 tower, they could always just rush up through the side of the wall and catch 5JuNGz off guard. Would it be worth it?
I think it's really cool how you can have the terrain pathing, but much more for the damage reduction still. This game, like for high ground defense, being able to run up the cliff maybe will have some applications, but the damage reduction's the big thing. When that Spectre uses Haunt, that Radiance illusion damage flying everywhere, you just pop the Stampede and negate so much of it. Because that's when 5JuNGz will be looking to find kills, is during the Haunt. So I think as soon as that Haunt comes out, you're popping Stampede, purely for damage reduction. And the added benefit of the cliff pathing.
I like it. It's very clever. Something we have not really had the opportunity to see here. No one. Oh, forced deep inside the base now. This Ember, in a bit of trouble, is still able to remnant out. Pasha committing a huge Ice Blast leads to a double kill for the Ember, and now they're looking to go for JuNGz. Vega do decide to kind of step back here and go back to square one, getting some damage on this tier 3. Not looking to overcommit. This Tusk is going to be out for 40 seconds here. No one on low life. Fata committing it from the fountain. Respectable damage on the Pasha here. Centaur could be going down. There's going to be the Haunt. Stomp to fall out here. Fata is up in arms here with Mag, but Mag gets caught up from a big Winter's Curse. It allows Fata to make an escape as Ember goes onto the chase. Changes course. Looking to go for JuNGz here. JuNGz does cold embrace himself. Now looking to go into flight. Will get snipped right there. No one is going to be godlike now as he catches him with the Slide of Fist. Vega lose nobody. Ice Blast in. Fata will roll through it, and he goes right into an Orchid, and it will be his kill. He goes down. He is out 45 seconds. No buyback. Laguna from Kuro will secure the kill onto Mag, but no one again picks up another. Now beyond godlike as he finishes off Kuro. And Vega are about to move on. Now 2-1 in this best of 5 here, unless 5JuNGz can hold this.
I don't see it happening. Spec spent that entire fight chasing a Centaur who was on like 50 HP, but he just couldn't catch up to because of the Blink and Fall stuff. And it's a lane of racks. It's a dieback from Lina. It's just overall disaster of a fight and a high ground hold coming out from 5JuNGz. They get nothing. The Brood kill amounts to very little. I think Lina even had the buyback penalty applied when she got the kill, so she didn't even get the full amount of money. And even if she didn't, it's still the buyback money being used, and Lina not really offering much to the team. So Storm with Orchid and Bloodstone has managed to at least pick up some farm. Like, this is the kind of farm you want to see on a Storm at this stage, or maybe slightly behind, but big picture-wise, everyone else is just...
Uh-oh, they tried to smoke move out, but Pasha happened to cross their path. Now they're going to look to go for the Centaur, but he is a big, beefy target. Seems like they might have enough gunpowder, but Solo is able to pop off the Greaves, and he'll be fine. An easy Stampede, and he is out of there.
Yep. Be able to heal back up bit by bit, I
Will
imagine.
be a full minute, though, without a Stampede. But as they inch on forward, that minute will probably tick pretty fast here, and this could quickly be the final hurrah here for 5JuNGz.
They're working on the pipe for Solo 2 as well now, so they want to have just all the early game aura items to push with and make the most out of.
And as they inch in here, 5JuNGz will smoke inside their base to try to stay in the dark with any sort of committed jump, which will happen there for Fata. Goes right into being silenced. He'll hand off his own silence onto Mag. Ice Blast actually connects onto Fata here, not quite onto Kuro. Bit of a swing and a miss from both sides. No one makes his return, and this is just that typical footsie play coming out from both sides.
And as long as Vega chipping away at this tier 3 tower, this is fine for them. Storm will delay that.
All right, force into his stun here, and Kuro's out. 50 seconds, no buyback. They made that look easy. That was a force setup from Ninepash right into his own stomp. Beautifully played.
Good execution, and they're back on the high ground. This time Brutal just even use the ultimate when possible to try and hit the tier 3 tower, it looks like. And Cliff forced out. Storm, it's now or never.
Oh, Seema the Slayer has drawn out the snowball here, and look at this. Mind Control's in big trouble. Wonderfully played from him. And Vega now, it's their time. They're looking to move in. Can they get a hold of Jerix here? Jerix is going to be going down.
No
This could
now.
be the game. They're going to step back. They're going to be going for the racks. Mind Control is back, but he could be just as quick brought down again. He is already down to low. And this means the racks are to crumble here. They're trying to split push, it looks like. Spectre working at the top lane, still holding that haunt. But all the meanwhile, Seema the Slayer is going to get another kill. That's Mind Control. His dieback now as Vega rotate up. They're going to look for the tier 3 and top set of racks here. Long jump from Fata leads into the haunt. No one going to get pulled back as the Orchid will help finish him off. Ember down, but look at this. Big Ice Blast to fly out. A Laguna, though, from Kuro will help get a big set of damage. Seema shows up, though. Big Echo Slam, follow-up fissure. That will help finish off as Matama Man is going to be dropped. Here comes no one. Back in again. Mag holding in the middle of the lane here. 5JuNGz just trying their best to hold it out as much as possible. Here comes Fata once again. Slide of his chain's going to be missing here. He gets the Vortex Bowl, but oh, they're not going to have enough yet. Winter's Curse will lock him in place. Fata continues to dance about a bit. No one will be brought down. 80 seconds. No buyback for him.
That's a dieback, but I don't think Vega really care at this stage. This game is all but in the bag. Mag's looking for that finishing blow. And Fata regen mana. Mag with a BKB will turn and fight. And Fata silenced, dead.
And Pasha's in now. They pop out the Stampede Ultimate. All that damage is going to be reduced, and they will get both of them down. Just when you think 5JuNGz were going to be able to hold and come out for once the better in the trade, Vega still showed that they have a second act and clean them up.
Their base is just in tatters. There's no defending. There's a Roshan in the next couple of minutes if Vega want to go for it. And you can just see based on the items, Vega know they can win this game soon. Earthshaker went back for a Vlad's pickup. AA's now got a pipe. Items you don't conventionally see on these support heroes at least. Normally you'd expect Earthshaker to go more into like the Initiation or a Shivers or an Octarine Core as is kind of more luxury late game item. AA, you'd expect the Aghanim Scepter, but they're just saying, yeah, we can just end the game.
That's been the trend, though, for Vega. Unconventional, you know, and we've been seeing it especially from the back end of their Nanyang run. You know, Mags changing it up with his Broodmother build against Moon Meander, the swap earlier into the mid lane for the Brood, and now with these build-ups on the supports, they're quick to adapt on the fly. Oh, Mind Control. Up in arms a bit. Someone's going to be able to blink away here. But Vega just showing it a lot of new tricks here, and it's definitely throwing a team like 5JuNGz off a bit.
Very resilient 5JuNGz, though. Once again, like we saw last game, them try to hold on versus Mega Creeps. They're going to play this one out and try and push Vega to the limit, although for Vega, it's very much, if they want to, they can just run through the motions here. They're ready to go for high ground. They're not worried about an Aegis. They've got a Skadi on Maggie, but he gets even tankier and harder to bring down with this, and this tier 3 tower has no glyph to protect it.
Long jump from Fata. This one not for a TP back. Just have to walk back the old way to get all that mana.
Does force out a BKB, and he doesn't even want to finish off the tower during BKB. Worried about a Winter's Curse locking him in place.
Tower will be denied. Nonetheless, that's still just the Rax is now being exposed. And Vega will just take this period to step back and farm up. Looks like Courier here to drop off.
It's a long Roche respawn. It's almost the max one, so they'll have to wait some time if that's what they're waiting for.
Haunt, though, to come out here.
That was
5JuNGz.
Miscommunication. Storm was not engaging.
Yeah, and I almost thought at first it was just for some bit of intel, but they actually are going in. Looking to get a hold on the Mag here, but Posh able to easily jump in. They quickly take out both supports, Kuro and Jerix, to drop Mind Control now. Going to be the third target here. And there's nothing they can do about it. They quickly lose 3 here, gods, and they are not going to be coming back for this high ground defense. That just might have been the game right there.
Spectre with no haunt. Storm has got a BKB now and will do all he can. Takes out the creep wave top, but there's a creep wave in mid. There's a creep wave in bottom.
Yeah.
That's not really doing a whole lot at this stage. That's what happens when you go down a lane of... Like, once you're down that first lane, Storm can no longer rely on these tricks when there's multiple lanes pushing him.
Fata's in, but even the jump from the fountain leaves him with no mana, and now he's just a walking little electric man. He will go down, and that will be game. Vega now advance on forward 2-1 here in this best of 5 grand final, and they are on match point to take this.
Yeah. So 2 games in a row, Vega had first pick. Must have, like, the way the selection works, you can choose pick or side, and it's given Vega the Ember Spirit, which they really want from a Tumber ban. I think what happens if first pick goes away at 5JuNGz, Ember gets banned to prevent that. But to me, the big change looking at the draft, Brood ban coming in game 4. No way do you give Mag Brood for a 3rd game in a row. You just first stage ban it.
But then something else gets slipped through.
You give him something else. You don't give him Brood.
I feel like they might make the mistake then of something like a first ban Brood, but then they forget about Wisp, and then you can solo his Wisp, and we've seen that.
IO and Quap, the 2 bans. I think you give him the Quap.
Oh yeah, because then we know what he can do on the Quap.
It's tough. Hard team. I think you just have to give him one of those 2 because you've just been you haven't given an answer to the Broodmother 2 games in a row. So,
but then it goes back to again. This is 5JuNGz, a team that most people found the favorites coming into this.
Yeah,
they're forced to a situation where they have to pander to Vega's drafting. They have to play to Vega. They don't get to play their own game. It almost feels like they have to counter now what Vega have in their pocket.
And it felt like the opposite coming in because Vega were put in a position where they're banning out signature heroes like the Beastmaster. That's the thing. Beastmaster, most teams do not pick or ban or consider Beastmaster. And you know what Vega do? They say, it's a signature hero of Fantas that's winning games. Let's just first stage ban it. We'll give it that respect, even if it's not a top pick. And that's what I feel like 5JuNGz have to do to Mag's Brood at this stage. It's fine if you let it through once and you lose to it. Like, that's kind of... That's going to happen. I feel like even this game, maybe they should have considered banning a Brood. But after 2 losses in a row, if they don't ban Brood, to me, that something is wrong.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be the case or not. That is the conclusion for Game 3. It's going to be Vega now up 2-1 here, and match point for them going into Game 4. Will 5JuNGz be able to hold and take it to a Game 5 stretch, or will Vega secure their trip to Singapore to compete at LAN? We'll find out in a moment. This is Kyle Guy for Beyond the Summit. That's Gods. We'll see you in just a few moments for Game 4 of the Nanyang European Grand Final. See you soon.